असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from mortality to the immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we were discussing Sister Nivedita's life, the Ireland's inspiration, the Margaret Noble who accepted Swami Vivekananda as her guru, and where she dedicated her life for the women's education in India, was an Irish lady. Unfortunately, many Irish people themselves, they are unaware of or about Sister Nivedita. So that is the reason I thought we should create more awareness about Sister Nivedita. Hence, I have started discussing about the life and teachings of Sister Nivedita. Definitely, she is an Ireland's inspiration. She led the life of dedication. She led the life of commitment. And she led the life of renunciation and service and whatnot. So it is a wonderful study for every one of us to study the life of Sister Nivedita. It gives a lot of inspiration for us. It ushers a lot of confidence, self-confidence in us. And a servant means a person who wishes to serve the society, serve the country, what mindset he should have, what type of attitude he should have, and how should he prepare himself so that he can be the better instrument in Lord's hands and he or she can serve the motherland or the noble cause. So from all these angles, studying the life of Sister Nivedita is very, very important for all of us. As we know in the previous class, Sister Nivedita, she left England and she has reached India, and slowly his master, that is Swami Vivekananda, has started training her. There is a Sanskrit couplet, Vajradapi katorani mriduni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetansi kohi vignatum harrati. It is very difficult to understand the minds of the great people. Why? Sometimes they are very hard like the diamond. Why? Because the diamond is the very hardest thing which is available. And sometimes they are softer than even the flowers. Flower petals, we know they are very soft ones. Even they are softer than the flower petals sometimes. And sometimes they are harder than even the diamond. So it is very difficult to understand or very difficult to explain the minds of great people. So even same thing we can see in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Nivedita had closely observed Swami Vivekananda in the London, and she was inspired by Swami Vivekananda, his personality and his ideas. She accepted her as guru after a long discussion, and she was on toes to go to the land where Swami Vivekananda had born and to serve him or his cause. And she left, no doubt, in the 1897, she left for India. Swami Vivekananda himself had come and he had welcomed her, and all arrangements for her stay, everything was well arranged. Now he started training her. He started making her perfect instruments in the Lord's hands, or to be the real sevaki, to serve the motherland, that is India. So when this process started, Nivedita had a very tough time. Why? Because Nivedita was a very tough lady. She was very independent spirit. Whatever anyone may be, he or she may be a very great person, no doubt. But they say she never used to accept so easily. She used to think, she used to discriminate, she used to reason, and if she finds okay, then she used to accept. Otherwise, she never used to accept. And sometimes she used to argue also. Argue in the right sense, I'm saying. Even in the London, many times when Swami Vivekananda spoke on Vedanta, initially, since it was new for her, it took some time for her to understand. And also, many times she had argued, she had a counter questions, and she had arguments with her guru, Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Vivekananda himself had done the same thing with his guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Even Swami Vivekananda was never a easy man where he never accepted anyone, anything and everything because his guru said, or because he is a great personality. No. He used to reason, he used to discriminate, he used to think. If he finds it is true, then he used to accept. But once he accepts, then he used to accept completely to his heart and he used to behave or put into action all the beliefs and faith. The same character, the same traits are also can be seen even in the life of Sister Nivedita. Before acceptance, before feeling it is okay, she used to argue, she used to question, she used to reasoning. But once it is done, then simply with 100%, with full dedication, commitment, she used to follow the instructions or the teachings or the principles. So both of them have started arguments. Swami Vivekananda used to tell about the Indian history, about the uniqueness of Indian culture, and Advaita Vedanta, the philosophy, different ideas of the great philosophers. Some things she was able to accept, some things probably she had left for time to make her understand, and for few things she was not able to accept, and she used to argue. No, it is not thing. Probably it is not. It may not be. It can be in other way like that. And especially whenever Swami Vivekananda used to tell about the atrocities done by Britishers in the India, where India was ruled by Britishers. Though she is an Irish lady, since from her childhood she was in Britain or in London, she had a strong faith, she had a strong belief that the Britishers are good people. Wherever they go, they help the people, etc. etc. So when sorry, when Swami Vivekananda said it is not so, they might have helped a little, no doubt, but they have created a lot of problems here. They have created bloodshed, they have created a lot of atrocities, and they are exploiting the people, common people, or even the kings, and they are plundering the wealth of the India and they are taking to their country. When all these things were told by Swami Vivekananda, it was very hard for Sister Nivedita. She outwardly she started rebuking it. No, it is not. It is false. It is your prejudiced mind, it is telling it is not. And Swami Vivekananda was also not an easy man. He used to tell, yes, I am right. And why? And he used to give a lot of examples and facts. That's how both of them used to have a lot of arguments. From the rich cultural and spiritual heritage, she was able to understand, she was able to accept. But whereas from when it comes to from this Britishers point of view, our political point of view, our freedom movement point of view, she was not able to accept, she was not able to digest. But at the same time, she was undergoing a very tough time. A lot of ideas had to change in her, and it was a very tough time for her. But at the same time, she was carried over by the love of her guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. During the time, whatever it may be, Swami Vivekananda has become very tough on me, but still I am carried over. I am blessed by his love. Why? She says that I had recognized the heroic fiber of the man, that is Swami Vivekananda, and desired to make myself the servant of his love for his own people. So Swami Vivekananda's love had attracted Sister Nivedita so much, whatever it may be, I am ready to serve him and serve his people for his sake. I mean, to please him, to please her Guru. So for service, we need devotion, we need commitment, we need philanthropic mindedness, we need service mindedness, no doubt. But along with all that, we have to understand the culture of that particular country. We have to understand the culture of the particular society. We have to understand the people's nature there. Then only we'll be able to serve the society properly. So Swami Vivekananda was well aware of all these things. That's why he was trying to train the sister Nivedita in a right perspective, to have a right attitude about India, Indian cultural heritage, spiritual heritage, and Indian people, so that she'll be free from the prejudice and she will have enough awareness and knowledge about India and Indian people, Indians, and she'll be able to serve. Nivedita was trying to understand India consciously or unconsciously, no doubt, but still, when it comes to this Britishers and the Western concepts, it was very hard to accept or to digest it. And when slowly, when Swami Vivekananda was explaining with all the facts and figures, slowly, the question had started in the Nivedita's mind. It may be true. It may be true. But she was very strong in her opinions. So there was a lot of conflict between these two personalities. Days passed, and conflict sometimes used to be so much as if like both are quarreling each other. And at some point of time, Nivedita felt whatever I have seen Swamiji, that is Swami Vivekananda, in London as a spiritual soul, as a spiritual personality. And now I am saying, of course, he's spiritual personality, no doubt. But apart from that, he has got other face of his personality, which I never knew in London. Now I am able to understand about his strong opinions about India or about Britishers, that I'm able to see, he understand in the India. So that was in the meanwhile, that was her opinion had formed about Swami Vivekananda. But at the same time, she was not very confident about it. Then that time, when Swami Vivekananda's disciple by name Swami Swarupanandaji, he was asked to teach Bengali language to Sister Nivedita and also to take spiritual classes like Bhagavad Gita. So he used to take Bengali class and as well as Bhagavad Gita class for Sister Nivedita. When Sister Nivedita, after her class, knowingly or unknowingly, she used to express her views, her perceptions, her opinions, her arguments happened with her master, Swami Vivekananda. That was the time Swarupanji helped her a lot to come out from these problems. Why? Because Swami Vivekananda is such a personality where she was unable to speak few things. Whereas Swami Swarupanji was a down to earth and as a brotherly monk, like as a monk, as a brother, elder brother, or whatever, younger brother, she was able to communicate with him her feelings and he used to console. No, Swamiji is telling in from this aspect, from this perspective. So that's what you are supposed to understand or you are supposed to know all these things. So slowly, Nivedita's mind started getting settled. Nivedita's mind started understanding the things, concepts, and she started putting things as they are. As she tells very beautifully, if without Swami Swarupananda would not have been for me, without his help, probably I would have left the India or I would not have was able to carry over with Swamiji. That's what Sister Nivedita's view was. Because it was very difficult and it was a great blow to her ego, Sister Nivedita's ego. It continued and Swami Swarupanji taught meditation for Sister Nivedita and she tells that because he taught meditation and that meditation really it helped me. It gave me immense peace. And she tells about Swarupananji in her diary, she writes, and if it had not been for this help of his means Swami Swarupanji's, one of the greatest hours of my life would have been passed would have passed by me. So Swarupanji helped her lot to observe the things, to understand the things, Swamiji and Swamiji's views, and that's how she was able to go ahead. In June 11, she left for Kashmir, the northern tip of the India, where beautiful scenery, beautiful valleys and all is there, along with Swami Vivekananda and few more Western disciples. and some one or two monks are also there. And she was a great student of botany. And when she was going in the Kashmir Valley, she used to see a lot of different types of new plants, new flowers. She used to go and she was with all astonishment. She used to see and she used to try to understand that what is the name of the plant, if it comes from which family, and what are the types, etc. etc. There also she used to argue or she used to discuss with Swami Vivekananda about India, Indian cultural, Indian heritage and history and all these things. But there, and she was able to move little closely with her guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. And slowly, she was able to perceive, she was able to understand the greatness, the spiritual personality or the spiritual aspect of her guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. And she was moved, simply she was moved, and she was simply inspired and impressed by her guru's spiritual personality, or she understood that is the embodiment of spirituality. And also here, there was a very different nature was seen in even Swami Vivekananda, where in the West he was completely very busy giving talks and all. She had seen after coming to India, he was busy in founding Ramakrishna Mission, all these things. Now, slowly, he had withdrawn himself. He wanted to meditate more and more. He wanted solitude. He wanted to practice meditation. He wanted to practice silence, all these things. That's why sometimes, apart from breakfast time, he used to talk with their disciples. Most of the time, he used to spend time in solitude or in meditation. If not, they have not gone out. He used to spend time in solitude, meditation, in silence. And this was seen very closely, keenly observed by Sister Nivedita. And this created a lot of effect on Nivedita's mind. By that, Nivedita also started preparing herself and she was able to progress more and more spiritually by meditation, by thinking, reflective thinking, so on and so forth. And sometimes when Swamiji used to go for hours together for meditation, or sometimes days together, and when he used to come back, whenever the disciples, the Western disciples or Eastern disciples, and including Nivedita, when she used to see Swami Vivekananda, the face was full of peace. It was full of peace and radiance, and everyone used to get awestruck and astonishment. Wow, what a beautiful face, which is radiating complete peace. By seeing the face of Swami Vivekananda itself, everyone used to feel so much peace in their heart. Because he's a Siddha Purusha, as his master Sri Ramakrishna himself had said. Means he was very apt, he was established in the meditation. Even when he was a small child, he used to sit for meditation as a game. Even in no time, he used to lose himself. He used to lose all his body consciousness. Such a great personality when he was child, even now you imagine. So after meditation, when he used to come, when these people they used to see, they used to get mesmerized by the radiance of peace and radiance of spirituality, which they used to feel and experience from Swami Vivekananda. And from Kashmir, they went to Amarnath. Amarnath is also in the part of Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir. There it is seen that there's a big cave, huge cave. In the huge cave, there's a Shivalinga. Shivalinga is not made up of any stone or any metal or any wood. Rather, the Shivalinga is not made, it is naturally formed from the ice. And of course, there are a lot of mythology story behind this, why that is famous and etc. So Swamiji started along with the devotees to go for Amarnath. Amarnath is one more name of Lord Shiva. And here, Nivedita, she observed and she writes in her diary. Now I understand by knowing Swamiji or by observing Swamiji how a pilgrimage, a person has to do pilgrimage. Why? We all go to pilgrimage, we book the tickets, or we go to the place, we go and see the places, we have a merrymaking, we laugh, we eat together, and we sleep, and we come back. And we say that, oh, I had been a good vision, or I had been to the such and such a place, I enjoyed. There is a lot of difference between picnic and a lot of difference between pilgrimage. And she writes that, now I have understood how I should do the pilgrimage. How? She tells that because I am able to see how Swami Vivekananda is doing pilgrimage. He himself is the embodiment of Lord Shiva, incarnation of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is going to see his own form, Lord Shiva's form. But she says that Swamiji was maintaining silence, or he was observing silence. Whatever is minimum required only is to talk, and most of the time is to observe silence. And most of the time they had to walk, and that too in the Himalaya, hundreds of feet, thousands of feet above. There they had to walk, and she says that she mentions in her diary that Swamiji used to take only one meal a day. He had to do practice penance or austerities. So one is that talk was very less. He used to observe silence all the time. And second thing, he used to have only one meal per day and rest of the time nothing. Second thing. And third thing, he used to have a holy dip. Dip not in the hot water, not hot water shower. In the ice cold, where the ice glaciers are there, ice formation is there. There, whatever the rivers are flowing with, which is a chilled ice cold water, there used to have a bath. As a holy bath, holy dip used to have. And used to do lot of meditation. So one is having a holy dip, second is meditation, third is observing silence, and fourth is again having only one meal per day. So this was the thing Sister Nivedita observed in Swami Vivekananda. So when you do such penance, when you do such austerities, what happens? Your mind becomes pure. Your mind gets tuned with the divine. Your mind gets a higher ideas. So when your mind is reached to the higher realm, what happens? Then when you go to any religious place, when you go to church, when you go to mosque, when you go to temple, when you go to monasteries, or when you go to any holy places, you will be able to enjoy, observe, and absorb the spiritual vibes of that particular place. There are so many people have done this. Of course, in every religion we can see this. So either someone want to go Vatican, someone want to go Mecca, Medina, or someone want to go Kashi or Amarnath, wherever. With this mindset, whatever is possible, if we can go with this preparation, then we'll be able to enjoy spiritually more instead of going and having the vision or seeing the place and coming back. If you want really the spiritual significance, so how a person has to do pilgrimage is today I have come to know. That's what Sister Nivedita, she mentions in her diaries by observing the lifestyle of Swami Vivekananda, our Guru. And at the same time, a piece of land was selected, and Swami Vivekananda's disciple, that is Khetri Maharaja, who is from Rajasthan, he wanted to purchase a big plot of land, and he wanted to give for his Guru, that is Swami Vivekananda, so that he can do whatever he wants. Swami Vivekananda in that Kashmir valley, he said, we'll have a monastery and also school for Sanskrit teaching, Sanskrit learning, Vedas or Upanishads or Gita or even Vyakarana, that is grammar, Nyaya, logic, all Sanskrit learning basically. Because India is known for that Sanskrit wisdom. So we will have, and name was selected, a place was selected, and they started going there and sitting meditation and all. But unfortunately, there, Sir Adalbert Talbot by name, he was adamant, just for his adamant nature, and he used to see Indians inferior because of racism and whatever so. And he was the leader of that particular council member. So thrice, when the appeal was done, application was sent by the Khetri Maharaja, thrice it was rejected by this councillor, and without giving any logical reasoning or proper reasoning. Now, Sister Nivedita was able to see in front of her eyes how the Britishers are exploiting the Indians, just like the Britishers did in same thing in Ireland. Unfortunately, famine was brought by the Britishers. Whatever crops were grown, they used to take away because of World War and for so many other things, for so many other times. They used to take to their country, and the local farmers, without food, they had to starve for death. Like there's so many atrocities had done by Britishers in India. When Swami Vivekananda told for Sister Nivedita, she never believed. But now, when that councillor, when he showed his adamant nature for no reason, And then she started understanding, yes, Britishers, they have not come to India to help, rather to exploit. And they had plundered the wealth of India. And they're ruling the Indians, and not with any good intentions. All these things she started understanding. Then she understood the significance of, the greatness of, or the truth in the words of her master, that is Swami Vivekananda. Then slowly her idea, her views about Britishers got changed. Then their pilgrimage continued. They went to Amarnath. They had a vision. And in the Amarnath, that a wonderful vision. Swami Vivekananda had a wonderful vision of Lord Shiva. At that time, actually, he was not well, but still he had a high fever and all. But still he had a cold water bath or holy deep, fasting and all these things. Though their disciples, they pleaded him, because you are not well, please take at least some more. At least once more meal, and don't have a holy dip in the ice cold water. But he said no. As a devotee, ardent devotee of Lord Shiva, I am supposed to do all these things, I will do it. And there he had a vision of Lord Shiva. And again, his face was, it was full of with peace and brilliant radiance and so on and so forth. And whoever is to see Swami Vivekananda at that time, everyone is to get attracted. There are many co-travelers, and there are many monks of different denominations, different parts of India. They were going as a travelers, as a pilgrimage, for the pilgrimage. But slowly, in no time, when they used to see Swami Vivekananda, when they used to have a little conversation, they used to get attracted towards Swami Vivekananda, and they used to make a group, and they used to stay, or they used to go around Swami Vivekananda, and they used to feel that if we speak few words with Swami Vivekananda, then our life will be blessed, because he was radiating peace and he was radiating spirituality. He was the embodiment of spirituality, of course, no doubt. And there, Swami Vivekananda got a boon from Lord Shiva, that Ichamanani. In Sanskrit, it is called Ichamanani. Ichamanani means whenever I like, whenever I wish, I can leave this body. So in that ill health, Swamiji was having a holy dip and etc. He had an enlargement of heart also. So the doctor was very much worried whether what will happen to Swamiji. One is biting cold and is taking only once meal, and there's a lack of oxygen there because of height, and at the same time he's having a holy dip, and there's a problem, high fever he has got, and there's an enlargement of heart has happened. Whether Swamiji will leave or not, whether Swamiji we can sustain all these problems, physical ailments, the doctor had his own worry. But there, Swami Vivekananda got a boon from Lord Amarnath, from Lord Shiva, that whenever you wish, you can leave this mortal coil, you leave this body, or you leave this earth. So that's why Swami Vivekananda tells, never mind, doctor, my heart might be enlarged, but I am not going. As till I wish that I will leave this mortal coil, I leave this mundane world, I will not go away. Afterwards, Sister Nivedita and all of them, they came back again to Kashmir. And there they went to Kshir Bhavani Mandir. Kshir Bhavani is one more mother goddess's farm. And for Kashmir people, it is one of the very important deity. All Jammu Kashmir people, even today, they worship. There they went, and it was in a dilapidated condition. Why? There was a very big, at least it was a very beautiful temple was there. The Mughals, Muslims, when they invaded Jammu Kashmir, they had destroyed it. So the temple was in dilapidated condition. When Swami Vivekananda saw that, his blood started boiling. Then he said, if probably when the Mughals attacked this temple, if I would have been there that time, I would have massacred everyone so that to protect my mother's temple. Then Kshir Bhavani, he had a vision of Kshir Bhavani, mother, universal mother Kshir Bhavani. My dear son, if I had wished, was I not able, or am I not capable to massacre all the Muslims who came and who destroyed my temple? because they are my children, I accepted because out of ignorance they are doing all these things. As a result, just I have accepted. So don't you think that was I not capable, am I not capable to massacre them or to kill the soldiers of Muslims? It was a tight slap. It was a big slap to Swami Vivekananda. If this incident, then we hear, oh yes, yes, it is true. We go away. But this was a very tight slap on Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda's mind was completely again changed. Till then, he was saying, if you see in the West, he was very busy in spreading Vedanta. After he came back to India, everywhere he gave a lot of lectures, and he tried to create an awareness, and he tried to awaken the Indian people, Indian youths, to protect their country, to fight for their country as a freedom movement. And he also started Ramakrishna Mission. He started telling their brother monks and other young monks that you should do this service and you should do that, and building monastery and all these things. He was busy. Even coming from from West, in India also he was completely busy. But after this incident, he became just like child, just like small child. Nivedita beautifully mentions, she mentions in her diary, from then we saw it is a completely change in the life of Swami Vivekananda, in his personality, in my Guru's personality. What? He became just like a child. If anyone asks, oh, what do I know? I am just child of mother. Till then, he was telling that we should do this, we should not do this, we should do some service, we should uplift the mankind, we should serve the mankind, we should do so many philanthropic activities. All these things were told by Swami Vivekananda. Now, after this incident, he started telling, what do I know? I am the son of the mother. I would like to sit, or I would like to sleep on the lap, on my mother's lap, and just enjoy. Just like kids, they try to sleep on the mother's lap and they enjoy. So similarly, he started telling that I would like to sleep on my mother's lap and just enjoy her. I mean, enjoy mother's love. So that was the mindset, the change in mindset in Swami Vivekananda after this Kshir Bhavan incident. And one more thing he does is, that's the time he wrote that beautiful poem, Kali the Mother. And after writing, his mind was at such a high state. His mind has gone to trance. It is called a Bhava Samadhi in Sanskrit, where they will be able to perceive, experience the transcendental reality. Bhava Samadhi, which we see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, often used to go. And here, Swami Vivekananda's mind also had gone to the higher realm of the transcendental reality, and where he wrote this Kali the Mother poem. And after writing in no time, he fell down. Why? Because he never had any awareness of the body or on the external world or on of the body. He completely had become unconscious for some time. Then slowly, when people nursed him, then slowly he regained his consciousness. He got up. But still, he had withdrawn his mind with all solitary. He used to love solitude. Many times, hours together, he used to go and sit for meditation. For days together, no one used to know where he is there. He used to go along with one houseboat, and after few days, he used to come. So this was much more reaction we seen. He was withdrawing himself more and more. Apart from that, here, he started worshipping a young girl as embodiment of mother. There is a tradition in India, like small girls, feeling that they are the embodiment of universal mother, Mother Kali or Mother Durga, whatever, like Mary we can say. So embodiment of Mother Mary, feeling that they worship. Just how we worship the deities with sandal paste, flowers, incense sticks, and waving lamps, and offering some sweet meats, all these things, and offering some clothes or whatever. The similar way, however we worship the deities, in the similar fashion, we also worship the girls, feeling that, are trying to see they are the embodiment of the universal mother. And more or less, every day, Swami Vivekananda started the girl as the embodiment of mother. And at some point of time, he also washed the feet and worshipped the girl who belonged to Muslim community. See, in this great prophet's lives and all, they never create any distinction. Oh, you are Hindu, you are Muslim, you are Christian, you are a Buddhist, you are a Jain, you are Indian, you are a Westerner. All these distinctions they never make. They accept everyone. They embrace everyone. Why? Because of their magnanimous heart, because of their universal mind. Oh, you are from Muslim community. No. He also worshipped, just like he worshipped the Hindu girl, in the same way, where the boatman's daughter, once she was talking, I think probably with her father, and who is a poor guy. He was a poor guy and also Muslim by religion. His daughter, Swami Vivekananda saw and said that she's the embodiment of mother, and even being the poor lady or whatever, she also worshipped, she washed the feet and she also worshipped her as the embodiment of universal mother. That is the beauty we can see in the life of Swami Vivekananda. When all these things were witnessed by Sister Nivedita, it was a very great impression was created on Sister Nivedita about her guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. Whatever she had and some arguments, some misconceptions about India had been changed now. And more than that, she was able to understand very palpatably what is spirituality. When we say that a person, he lived life of spirituality, he breathed spirituality, he used to swallow spirituality, and he is the embodiment of spirituality. We all say sometimes as a superlative degrees, and she literally saw from her own eyes, she experienced while staying with her guru, Swami Vivekananda. That's the reason beautifully she narrates her experience in the Kashmir things. But I really sat down to tell you more about Swami, and I don't know how to begin. A fortnight ago, he went away alone, and it is about 8 days since he came back, like one transfigured and inspired. I cannot tell you about it. It is too great for to express. My pen would have to learn to whisper. He simply talks like a child of the mother. But his soul and his voice are those of a god. The mingled solemnity and exhilaration of his presence have made me retire to the farthest corner and just worship in silence all the time. It has just been the manner of one who had seen God and whose eyes even now are full of the vision, is radiating the godly vision, is radiating the peace, is radiating the spirituality. To him, at this moment, doing good seems horrible. Only the mother does anything. Patriotism is a mistake. Everything is a mistake, he said when he came home. It is all mother. All men are good, only we cannot reach all. I am never going to teach anymore. Who am I that I should teach anyone? So there was a lot of change in Swami Vivekananda's personality, and she was witness to in change of Swami Vivekananda's personality. And at the same time, there was a lot of impression created in the minds of Sister Nivedita by the spiritual practice or by the spiritual personality of Swami Vivekananda, her guru. And she continues. And in those last hours, yesterday morning, we held our breath and did not dare to stir, while he sang to the mother and talked to us. Is all love, is all love now. There is not an impatient word, even for the wrongdoer or the oppressor. It is all peace and self sacrifice and rapture. Swamiji is dead and gone were the last words I heard him say. See, this is what happens when a person who is ripened spiritually completely, one who is complete, all his individual ego, pseudo ego will go away. And his ego will be merged in the universal ego, or there is no individual ego. So that we can see very clearly in the life of Swami Vivekananda. A person who sincerely practices spirituality, that's where we end. Not I, we, not mine, ours. Oh, I did something, I can do something. No, it is not of helplessness. It is not of lack of faith. No, it is rather expanding oneself, that expand are merging his ego with the cosmic ego. There is no I, pseudo I or pseudo ego, rather, it is only cosmic ego, cosmic truth, and he will be just a child or an instrument in the hands of the Lord or in the hands of the God. Then the question may come, he himself was God. Then why should he do all these things? Yes, it is a lesson he's trying to teach for all of us. A sadhaka has to sincerely practice and he has to do service, he has to do charity and all things as a worship towards the Lord. Slowly, slowly, when we get advancement in spirituality, what different personalitical traits will be changed and how the mindset of a sadhaka changes at different times, at different periods is seen very clearly when we study the life of Swami Vivekananda. Earlier he used to argue with his guru. Then he accepted him. Then he said, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of my master, Sri Ramakrishna. By his own just a speck of my master's dust, like me, Naren or Vivekananda, thousands of Naren can come. Who used to argue with his master Sri Ramakrishna, now he had become the servant of Sri Ramakrishna, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Then he went all over the world and he went all over the India, and whatever he's supposed to do as a work given by his master, he did. And now he's saying that I don't know anything. I'm a child of the mother. I would like to play in my mother's lap. And everything is good. He's not able to see the sin at all. He's not able to see the bad people at all. He's seeing everywhere good. In everyone good. So he is saying that everyone is good, only we are unable to see. So that means Swami Vivekananda's mind was with completely positivity. So much so that even he is able to see some goodness even in the sinner or even the dacoit, in the thief or in the person who does burglar. Because in every person there is something goodness, no doubt. Otherwise he cannot be a human being. So we cannot, most of us, we are not able to. Whereas the great saints, they try to see always good things in people. Why? Because they are the embodiment of good. That's the reason they are able to see the goodness in everyone and in anyone. That's why we say, as we think, so we become. Now, Swami Vivekananda has got so much positivity, so much goodness in him. That's why he's able to see the goodness everywhere. So until otherwise, if I am not able to see the goodness in me, if I am not able to imbibe the good qualities in me, I will not be able to see the goodness or good values in others or in the world also. This is all very important for us. So neither the world is wrong, nor it is correct. As it is, it is. That's what we saw in the yesterday's lecture, that is Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. The world is a moral gymnasium. We told Swami Vivekananda had given a lecture. In his lecture or in Karma Yoga we had heard. Now we see very clearly he has practiced it. It is not mere speculation. It is not mere lecture. It is not mere idea. Rather, he is the embodiment of it and he has put into practice. That is the beauty of all these great people. It was not mere hypothetical argument or hypothetical thinking. Rather, that he experienced. They have made their life as a laboratory, spiritual laboratory. They have made an experiment and they have experienced and they used to tell the truth. They are telling to the mankind to save all of us. That's what we have to understand. The moment we understand more and more, then it will do better. It will do good for us. That's what Sister Nivedita is saying, that now my vision or my idea about Swamiji or my Guru Swami Vivekananda has completely changed. Now I am able to understand little or maybe a chapter or two of spirituality, or what do you mean by spirituality. So that's why we have to stay with our gurus, and Guru's grace and Guru's guidance. If it is there, what happens? We can see very clearly in the life of Sister Nivedita, the Margaret Noble, where she was blessed enough to have the holy company of the great spiritual giant of the great incarnation, that is Swami Vivekananda. And she tells beautifully, Nivedita ended her foreword to the notes on some wanderings with Swami Vivekananda with the words. There she mentions, we have learned something of the mood in which new faiths are born and of the persons who inspire such faiths. For we have been with one who drew all men to him, listening to all, feeling with all, and refusing none. We have known a humility that wiped out all littleness, a renunciation that would die for scorn of oppression and pity of the oppressed, a love that would bless even the oncoming feet of torture and of death. We have joined hands with that woman who washed the feet of the Lord with her tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head. We have lacked not the occasion, but her passionate unconsciousness of self. So she ends with, to those who have known such hours, life is richer and sweeter. And in the long nights, even the wind in the palm trees seems to cry, Mahadeva, Mahadeva, Mahadeva. The Mahadeva is the another name of Lord Shiva, because she was able to see Lord Shiva in Swami Vivekananda. That's why her foreword ends with the word Mahadeva, Mahadeva, Mahadeva. And now we can understand how probably Sister Nivedita is blessed, because she had such a holy company of her guru, that is Swami Vivekananda. Her life is blessed, and she was able to understand what is spirituality, and she was able to feel and experience what is spirituality, which in the long run, which will pull any aspirant or any person to in the path of spirituality, and which will enable to progress more and more in spirituality, because of that the taste of divinity or the taste of divine bliss. Many of the time we want to progress in spiritual life, we are not able to. Why? We have not yet tasted sometimes, whereas she has tasted already. So that will pull herself, I mean himself or herself in the spiritual life. And she's really a great blessed lady to have such a holy company of her master, that is Swami Vivekananda. Now, from now onwards, Sister Nivedita's mind, Sister Nivedita's personality was completely changed. And she was able to understand every letter, every sentence, the significance of every sentence of her Guru, Swami Vivekananda. But before reaching this stage, she had a lot of bad time. She had a lot of, I mean, unnecessary reactions in her mind, in her personality. All these things she had to face and she had to overcome. So this is the case in every one of us. There are a lot of struggles will be there. Sometimes we fear for that when we get away. We should not, whatever it may be, we should fight. We should not flight. We should fight, we should not flight. So that after we fight for some time, then definitely there will be eternal peace and bliss for all of us. That's what we can see in the life of Sister Nivedita. Let our Master and our Gurus bless every one of us, so that we shall equip ourselves to fight, and at the same time to cross over all these problems and to enjoy that eternal bliss, please. Eternal peace or eternal bliss. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.